And we welcome once again Steve Bone to the Pompey Sound microphone, studio and podcast. Steve,
hello.
Do you mind if we start the wrong way round by asking you for your prediction first rather than last?
Oh,
for
that's
Hull?
that's a curveball.
We don't spend enough
yes.
time talking about your prediction because we've run out of time. So you just go 3-1. Get it right, and that's the end of it. So, have you had a chance to think about Hull?
I have. I've been thinking about Hull. Yeah. Who doesn't think about Hull most of the time anyway? Lovely place. Yes, it's going to be difficult because they're obviously at the top end, aren't they? They're up there in the playoff zone, just behind Ipswich and Millwall. They beat us 3-2, I think it was, at their place. For us, though, it's not the same sort of must-win game that we've had a few times at home this season, I don't think, because those two wins at Charlton and Millwall just took the pressure off a bit. While we mustn't think that that's job done, we don't absolutely have to win tomorrow, but I think we will. I'm going to go for we've beaten two of the sides in that top six at home. We've beaten Middlesbrough and Millwall. I think we're going to beat Hull. I'm going to go, if you press me for a score, which I know you will, I'll go 2-1 to us.
Okay.
Which will be jolly nice if we can do that, to relieve a further bit of pressure down the bottom.
We've heard this morning that they've got injury worries.
Yes, they've got their left back. Their regular left back, I think, is out with a hamstring. A couple of others doubtful. But so have we, haven't we? You've got to remember we've still got half a team out. I think we've got one or two getting close to a return. I think people like Shaughnessy are quite close again. We might even see Shaughnessy in the squad tomorrow, mightn't we? I think this weekend, which would be good. I imagine like Hull are up the top there. They're not up the top there with a squad of 14. They've got a big squad. They'll be able to cope with a couple of injuries, so I don't think they'll be too worried about that. Beat Derby 4-2 in midweek, so they're going to be in form. They're going to be they have a little spring in their step. I think it'll be quite an open game. Hull don't draw many. They've only had 6 draws all season, which I think is not quite the fewest in the league, because Sheffield United have only drawn 3. Sheffield Wednesday, interesting, have drawn 8. That surprises me. I didn't think they'd had that many draws, but they have. So not many draws, so I don't think it'll be a draw. I hope it goes our way, but it'd be a big test for us.
Yes, it will. What was I going to say? Yeah, we're running a piece at the moment on Pompey Sound about the impact that the January recruits have had on the club in general, because our performances and our results have definitely picked up through February. How much credit do you give the new arrivals?
Yeah, I think you have to give them quite a lot, actually. In order, you'd probably say Adams has had the biggest influence. He's come straight into that midfield. I don't think he's hardly missed a minute since he first went out there. He scored a couple of goals, scored against Southampton and West Brom, didn't he, early on? And he's been just generally influential in the qualities that he's brought to that midfield. Bit more bite, bit more presence, bit more sort of tackling ability. When previously, it was always, who do we play? Dazal and Koznovsky when he was fit. Do we play Dazal and Pack? Do we try Swift there? Do we bring somebody else in? It was a little bit tricky, wasn't it, to find our balance? And even now that Dazal is out, actually, Adams and Pack have done very well together.
Very well.
I think Wrexham might have been, most people thought Wrexham was one away trip too many too soon for Pompey and maybe for that midfield duo. But so, if you're looking at the January recruits, number 1, Ibu Adams. Number 2, you'd probably say Millie Ali. Been very good on the left. His contribution means that we haven't missed Josh Murphy as much as I think people thought and feared we would do. You lose a player like Murphy from that squad. That's a huge blow, isn't it? And that was a worry when we first heard that he could be out for a few weeks. and I think he's still out for a few weeks more now, isn't he? As far as we know. But Ali has come in, scored a couple of goals. Well, I think he's only scored one, perhaps, but he's set up a couple, and he just gives us a bit more. He's a bit, in terms of wingers that we've seen recently, this season and maybe last. He's got a bit more muscle about him, hasn't he? A bit more power. Doesn't get knocked off the ball too easily, like one or two of our wingers have done in recent times. Likes to get down to the byline, likes to get an early crossing sometimes. Some of his crossings a bit wayward, but you don't mind that if one or two of them go in the right area. So he's been good, and I think we're starting to see, third in the pecking order maybe at the moment, Caballero, our Gus. What a moment that was at Millwall last Saturday. I didn't think we'd win at Millwall. I didn't have high hopes for that game at all. I was quite encouraged that it was still 0-0 at half time, and then lo and behold, within 30 seconds. Millwall are sort of faffing about with a ball. I think Bishop flicked it on, didn't he? Their defenders seemed to have about 5 minutes to think about what to do with it, and suddenly there comes Gus racing through from nowhere, doing a 100-metre sprint, gets the ball, good shot, but straight at the keeper, and then puts away the rebound from quite an angle. It was one of those goals that I think made people stop and think, wow, that's quite a player we appear to have there. And we haven't seen him at home yet, so I'm looking forward to seeing him against Hull if he plays or comes on as a sub. So those three, if you take those three among the January recruits, that's some good business there, isn't it? Don't think anyone got too excited when we signed Ali, because they said, he's from Luton, he's from League One, why are we signing him? But actually he's proved a few wrong. Adams, I think people were a bit more positive about, and he certainly lived up to that. Caballero was just an unknown quantity, wasn't he? But we're starting to see did somebody call him the Paraguayan Pele or something? might be a slight exaggeration.
Somebody else said that Ali was playing like Neymar.
Well, there we go. We've got Pele and Neymar on the side. We should be doing all right, shouldn't we?
You'd think.
Obviously, there's a couple of the January recruits we haven't seen yet. There's one that we won't see because Elise has sadly got a serious injury and has gone back to Sunderland, I think. Haven't seen Jojo yet, have we? Or, did he come on?
I heard that
games? I think
he ran out and then ran back in again when the whistle went. But those who say they've seen him say that he's, if nothing else, physically impressive.
Yeah. My barber, who is a Pompey fan, big Pompey fan, has been for 50 years. After we signed Jojo, which I think we're going to call him that because it's easier than saying his full name. It was when I walked in down my haircut about 3 weeks ago. He said, "Have you seen the YouTube footage of Jojo? He looks like a cross between Beckenbauer and Virgil van Dijk." Which that's not bad, is it? So there we go. We've got Neymar, Pele, Van Dijk, and Beckenbauer in the team. Must be world beaters.
And a good nickname as well. We come back to nicknames because we now understand that John Messino calls Ali Mill. He loves his nicknames, doesn't he?
Right, Mill.
Yeah.
That's funny. Mill is almost harder to say than Millie, really. Isn't it?
It is, but Millie,
maybe he doesn't want to be called Millie.
And the other thing is, I think that Mousinho applies nicknames to players that they can shout on the pitch, on the training ground if they're having a game.
That's true.
Man on Mill, you can hear it, can't you?
Something quick.
Yeah.
And can't be confused with anything else.
Square ball Millie, it doesn't.
No, it's not quite the same. Yeah. No. It likes a one syllable.
On the other hand, man on Jojo, it sounds. Get back, Jojo! Hey, there, I've done it. Get back! Get back! Right now, we signed a great many experienced players in January. 2 30-year-olds, a 27-year-old, 2 25-year-olds. It's only Jojo who's the baby of the bunch at 22. So this was clearly a here and now recruitment campaign rather than the future.
I think so, and I think it was a bit of a shift in sort of policy and approach, wasn't it? Really, I don't think they'll say we've changed our whole approach to signing players. I think they will still want to sign young players where they can and bring them on, and get hold of people that they think might become, sellable assets in 2 or 3 years' time. But I think there was an admission there that sometimes you just need to you do need experience over youth. You need to bring in people sometimes, especially when you're at the bottom of the league and desperately needing results, however they come. You need people who have been around the block a bit, and who know this division, who know English football, and who know how to break up an opposition attack, and know how to run down the clock, and know how to win a free kick and that sort of thing. And I think Adams in particular is certainly in that bracket. You wouldn't want a team full of, you don't want a team made up entirely of 30-year-olds, do you, either? Because that would bring its own problems. In this division you need a bit of pace and strength, and you need a bit of everything, really. And I think at the moment we've got quite a nice mixture, because we've still got the youth, haven't we? We've still got people like Devlin and Swanson, and some people around the edges of the squad who have that. But we've got plenty of experience in there now as well, which you would think should see us home and over the line between now and the end of the season. Be interesting to see what the transfer policy that is then in the summer.
Yes.
Do they continue down that road?
Yes.
Is it still a mixture? If you're going to bring in 6 players in the summer, what sort of 6 will they be? Will that be mostly youngsters again, or do they think they've had their fingers burned a little bit down that way? One to watch.
The same day that John Messino announced that he'd taken Caballero off because he just wasn't playing the press properly, arrived in the Pompey Sound studio a huge data document from CIES Football Observatory. This is a Swiss sports analysis outfit, and they've been investigating the teams out of 56 world leagues who apply pressure best. And Pompey are quite high on the list.
Are they?
We're 21st in England in all the 4 divisions. 21st is pretty high.
It's not bad,
because it means we're up there with Liverpool.
Top quarter.
Absolutely. There are 4 areas they analysed: how high up the pitch you press, how quickly you interrupt your opponent's passing moves, the frequency of defensive actions, that is to say the number of times that you find yourself defending. But the one that interested me was how many fouls you concede in your opponent's back third of the pitch, bottom third of the pitch. And Ipswich are top of that league, mini league. They foul in the opponent's bottom third, their top third, a third more often than anybody else in the championship. And they don't look as though they've got it in them, do they?
No, they don't actually. It's interesting that they are that far above everybody else, isn't it? And does that suggest that are Ipswich quite well up the pressing league?
They are.
Like us as well.
I think they're the top English side for pressing.
Right. Yeah. And if they're conceding that many fouls, that suggests that does that suggest that they're just being a bit too over exuberant with it, and are almost putting too much of their game into that?
We should know, but what do you understand the press to mean?
Well, it's what you do and where you position your players and what you ask them to do when the opposition have got the ball at the back. Effectively, isn't it? Maybe that's a bit oversimplistic, I don't know. But for me, it's, thinking back to last season, and I'm remembering games where, particularly at home, we had Lang, Bishop and Ritchie would all be sort of hovering around the edge of the opposition area if they had a goal kick, for example.
Yeah.
Just trying to force a mistake, which sometimes we did.
Yeah.
I suppose you can press anywhere on the pitch. You pressing doesn't have to be only what you do in your final third, does it? You can press in midfield. You can be more pressing as a defending team in midfield or at the back than than you would be if you were more a team that was happy to sort of stand off players and let them play and let them have possession a bit. I think we do it quite well on the whole. And it, if we're that far up the stats from the observatory, that suggests we're doing something right. And if you look at Ipswich, I mean, where are they in the league table? They're in a good position in the league table. They're not that far off the top two, in fact. So that suggests that for them it's working, even if they're conceding a lot of fouls. I suppose if you're doing enough pressing, yes, you might concede some fouls, but eventually you'll force some mistakes as well. So it's working for them. Be interested to see, not asking you to get the all 56 leagues out now, but I'll be interested to see the teams at the bottom of the pressing league, those who don't value it so much and don't do it.
There are no Paraguayan sides in the top 100.
No,
I don't think the press has reached South America yet.
No. So it sounds like Gus needs to learn a little bit about how it's done.
Yes.
He probably knows he would know already from the coaching staff as a broad outline of what he's expected to do. If the left back's got the ball at his feet, go and harass him, go and get the ball off him. But perhaps he's not refined it yet. Perhaps he needs to decide when to do it and when not to do it. That must be an element of it too.
I've got the data up, and I'm not going to detain you with it. But you did ask. Pompey scored 87 out of 100, which is pretty good.
It is.
Down towards the bottom, you've got a Polish outfit called Wisła Plock, who scored 6.9.
Oh dear.
And there's a couple of Mexican teams down here. They obviously don't care for the press much in South and Central America. It's not their game.
I suppose you find that. I suppose a team will only sort of learn to press and develop it as that side of the game if other teams in their own league are also doing it in a way. I mean, I wonder. I'm trying to think of non-league scene here. Don't think it is as big a part of the non-league game.
You've got to be fit, haven't you, to zigzag around the pitch at top speed.
Yeah.
Chasing the ball and chase. One man has to go to the man who's got the ball. Yeah. Apparently, I'm told this by somebody who does know, but I didn't really manage to drink it all in because drink had been taken. And so you want their goalkeeper to have the ball, and you want to give enough space to the two wide defenders that he's tempted to pass to them.
Yeah.
Then whoever is the nearest player on your side to that defender who's just receiving the ball has to hare towards him straight away, fast as he can, and the midfield players behind him follow in to mark the short passes that defender might favour. Because it's all about keeping possession. And if you get it right, the ball goes back to the goalkeeper, who then passes it across to the other defender, who you've also allowed to be sufficiently free to be an attractive pass. And then whoever's nearest him,
go on him.
And I can now see Colby Bishop constantly herring forward in those situations. He's a very selfless runner. Because David Moyes makes a point about pressing. He says you've got to be very selfless because the player that is first on the scene is never going to get the ball.
You're not going to be the one to get it, are you? No,
you have to depend on the midfielders snapping up the passes that the guy makes, and then hope that they'll give you the ball and you can score like that. But initially, it's down to the forwards, and they have to sacrifice themselves.
And I do think Bishop is central to that side of our game.
Yeah.
And I think that is one of the reasons why when I see people say Bishop's only scored 2 goals all season, he should have been dropped ages ago, I have to bite my tongue and I say I would not drop Colby Bishop from that team. Well, even if he doesn't score another goal between now and the 2nd of May, I would keep him in there because I think if you take him out, well, we've seen it a couple of times, you take him out, you lose a lot of the shape and the rhythm of our play. And it's selfless is a good word because you're not going to get the glory by doing that role. You're going to do the hard work and potentially set the glory up for somebody else.
Yeah. Talking about Caballero, that leads us nicely into team selection for the Hull game. A lot of people will be listening to this after the team is announced at 11:30. But one news agency is assuming that Swift is going to be unavailable, and they're saying that Caballero is going to keep his place even though he's not the best presser. and Segacic is going to step in as the number 10.
Interesting. I do think Caballero will start against Hull, because I think he's done enough in the games he's started to warrant that. Particularly that moment at Millwall last week. Should stay in the team for the rest of the season, you might say, based on that. Segacic or Chaplin. Is Chaplin going to come back in if fit?
Yeah.
I think there's some doubt as to. Well, he was on he came on Tuesday, didn't he? Came on at Wrexham, so I think he probably is fit. I think Chaplin might be more likely to get the nod at 10 than Segacic, but either of those two in place of Swift in the 10 is okay by me. They've both done okay, and Segacic generally has had a good season and carries a bit of a goal threat. Chaplin, I think, has gradually got better. He's got his first goal the other week against West Brom, didn't he? He's been missed a few games since then. Wouldn't mind either of those two, but I hope Caballero starts, because I think with a home crowd behind him, when he gets the ball on the touchline and starts to run and show his pace a little bit, I think that will get the crowd out of their seats a little bit, more so than some of our other options, who might be left-footed on that side. As I said before, I like to see a right-footed winger on the right wing.
Yeah.
Can go outside his man, get to the byline, cut it back.
Yep.
Like Alan Rodgers used to do on the left-hand side all those years ago.
Oh, those are the days.
So I hope we see Caballero start, and I'm looking forward to my own first glimpse of him in the flesh.
If it came down to a head-to-head, one or the other, for the number 10 shirt between Swift and Chaplin, which way would you jump?
Ooh, it's difficult at the moment. I think it's nice that we've got the choice of both. It's a bit of a luxury, really, to have both. Neither of them have had the season that we thought and hoped they would. Probably I would go with Chaplin, because I think he has shown more progress over a longer time. I know he's taken a long time to get up to speed, but I think he is now a bit nearer being up to speed than he was for the first half of the season. Swift has had a couple of very good games there, at Charlton and Millwall. Millwall he went off. No, Wrexham he went off, didn't he? I'm getting so many away games that I've lost track of who we played. Scored the goal at Millwall, didn't he? And did well. And for a couple of games before that was operating well there, in what is probably his best position. He was played in the deeper midfield role earlier in the season. It didn't work so well, did it? So I think if they were both equally fit for the next game and the next game after that, I would probably go at the moment with Chaplin. But what a good option to have on the bench. If it's not working for Chaplin, straight swap, bring on Swift. And that's betting without Segacic as well, who you'd ideally want to in the team somewhere. I've seen a couple of people make the point that with the likes of Pack, Adams and Ali all in there, and Caballero, we're a bit more of a sort of physical force as a front six than when we had Chaplin and Segacic both out there, because they're both small, they're both lighter weights, and it's not quite the same sort of combined force, is it, when you've got those two or even one of them playing? So that's a consideration as well for the manager.
It's
got some
not
options there, haven't we?
Yeah, it's size is not crucial, especially in that position in a sort of attacking midfield. I go back as far as perhaps one of the best club teams we've ever seen in England, and that was Don Revie's Leeds United, and they had two midfield players, Billy Bremner and Johnny Giles, both of whom were garden gnome stature.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there are many, down the years and even today, there are many players who are small in stature but are well worth their place in whatever position they play, up front, midfield. There are some very good small fullbacks around.
Yeah.
You don't want a 4.5 foot centre half or goalkeeper ideally, but
no.
Elsewhere on the pitch, it
doesn't
depends
matter
what else they bring, doesn't it? If they're more mobile because of their size, then great, get them in there.
Let's get your thoughts on those players whose contracts are up in 11 games' time or whatever it is. Is it 11 we've got left? Doesn't matter. End of the season. John Messina has singled out Conor Ogilvie as being somebody that he is hoping and praying will be available at the start of next season, wherever we are. But he says it's got nothing to do with him, and he's not playing any part whatsoever in the talks that are going on between Pompey and Conor's agent, because, Messino says, he wants to talk to Conor just about football.
Right. I can see the sense in that. I'm sure that the manager will have either been asked for his views or have given his views to those who are doing the talking, even if he's not directly involved. There will have been a conversation between him and Rich Hughes, or him and Andy Cullen, or I don't know how it works. And before any talks with Conor and his agent would have started, Pompey, the club, would have wanted to know that Messino still wanted him, and I think he's been quite clear that he does. He sees Conor as a dependable, rarely injured member of the squad who's actually improved quite significantly over the time we've had him. Put key role in League One, struggled at the start of the Championship but grew into it, and then became an ever-present on that side last season. Was missed when he was out of the side this season. So yeah, it's one of those that it's a bit of a no-brainer really for Pompey to offer him a new deal, and I think they will. He's not going to sort of break the budget or anything, is he? He's an existing player. We know what his demands will be. He's probably got he's done enough to be able to say, nice little pay rise please in my new deal.
There's that, because
of what I've done for you, and that's to be expected. But yeah, I don't think anyone. I think I think the manager would be disappointed, and fans would be amazed if he was not offered a new contract, or if talks broke down and he ended up leaving, because he's one that you would certainly want in the trenches.
Definitely. When you said that, you mentioned the backroom staff, not sure who it is in between Rich Hughes and Andy Cullen who do the negotiating for Pompey, it reminded me that this week we appointed a new chief financial officer, a man whose name has run out of my head, but I did note, because I did a little bit of investigating. He is formerly of Wentworth Golf Club, and I thought, what does he know about football? Turns out he used to be a Brighton Academy player himself, and he's desperate to get back into football.
Yes, yeah, he's got a football background, hasn't he, as well as a golf background. Ronan, I think, is his name.
Ronan something, yeah.
Gallagher, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yes, sorry.
A golf name.
If you're listening. Yes, that's true, yeah. Interesting that an ex-player... I suppose you do get it, don't you, in football? You get ex-players who, if they don't get to the level they want to as a player, they'll come back into the game in some other role. Probably helps that he would know, before at the point now where he's coming into Pompey, he knows how a football club works. He knows the structure of a club. He knows what the demands are. He knows the importance of the academy and all the infrastructure and the sort of costs associated with that. And you would think, having been quite senior at Wentworth, which is quite a big, a sort of high-profile facility in the golf world, that sort of bodes well as well, doesn't it? You would think he knows one end of a balance sheet from another, knows how sporting industries work. So yeah, it seems like they've moved pretty quickly to find a new financial officer. Well,
probably as soon as he hung up his jacket on his chair, they sent him down to the garden centre to see what sort of deals they were doing on grass.
For
got
the new
a new
pitch
coming, yeah.
We have, haven't we? Yeah. Ipswich fans will be pleased we're getting a new pitch, I'm sure, because they've had two trips down here called off. Maybe we could ask them for a little contribution towards it. I don't know if that would.
I wonder what it will cost. 100 yards by 80 yards of top quality turf.
Yeah, that's a few wheelbarrows full of turfs, isn't it?
They stuck the number 1 million on it on the Portsmouth News, and that probably isn't far off.
Yeah, it's got to be good quality, isn't it? You can't cut corners with a pitch, can you? You can't muck about. You need good quality. You need to know that once it's down, it is pretty quickly going to settle, and it's going to be reliable, and you're not going to have to dig it up after 2 months. Well, you can't dig it up after 2 months if you start to play on it in August. It needs to do the job. It's the sort of showpiece, the centrepiece of the club in a way, isn't it? It's where people watch the action, and it needs to be good. So let's hope it is. Sure, it will be.
You mentioned cutting corners, and I just do want to raise this because it's been in my mind. It comes into my mind so often during every game. When a player is taking a corner, whether it's one of them or one of ours, they have a very awkward 3 strides to get to the ball because they've got to come off sort of like shingle and then go up a step.
Difference. Yeah.
They've got to step up about 9 inches. It's like, it's a full stair height.
Yeah, it is.
And then they get their first 2 steps on the same surface, just as they're making the strike.
Yeah,
They've got to be able to level that out. Can't they turf that corner so that all the corners have got a better run in for the ball? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Does it matter?
I've never thought about that. Well, I suppose same for the opposition as for us, isn't it? But it's not. Yeah, when you think how much money is spent on
everything,
football grounds and everything being right for players and strength and conditioning and everything else, you would think a little thing like that, a little area to enable them to take a corner properly, you would think that wouldn't be much in the grand scheme of things, wouldn't you?
And the other thing,
might be a good excuse for why some of our corners aren't very good.
Well, I mean, Seggs couldn't get one into play, could he? Do you remember 4 or 5 games ago?
Yeah.
He put 4 directly out of play. What was I going to ask? Is it me, or is everybody foul throwing?
Oh,
nowadays?
Yes, there's a lot of them. Yes, yeah, and they don't often get pulled up on.
Hardly ever.
Do they? You occasionally get. Sometimes if you get one foul throw given against in a game, you then get a couple after that as well because the referee's made a bit of a rod for his own bat. But yes, it's a fine line, isn't it, between what's a foul throw and what's not a foul throw. But some of them you look at and you think he's not done the correct motion there.
No.
Which for professional footballers they should know.
Do they know they're getting away with it? Because the law's very clear. Because being a bore, I looked it up to see if it's the same as when I took the exam. The ball has to come from behind the head, not on top of the head, which is where almost everyone comes from the top of the head now. In fact, I used to think that Callum Lang's goal celebration was his imitation of how far he took the ball back over his head. I sort of his hairline.
Yeah,
and
it's. Yeah, well, I did a piece in the programme recently where I invited people to say what they... Well, I started off by saying, what do you not like about football? And then that went on to what things would you bring back into football? And there was a couple of things. Somebody said proper policing of foul throws because it is just not... It's not properly in check anymore. And somebody else said... it wasn't so much foul throws, it was where throws are taken from.
Oh, yeah.
And somebody was suggesting that as well as the linesman having a little can of spray to indicate where a free kick should be taken on, there should be not the linesman because they've got enough to do, but somebody else on each side running up and down with the play. When the ball goes out of play, mark in your fading spray where it's gone out,
like this,
and make the player take the throw from there.
From there or within a stride of there. I love that idea.
Yeah, it's a good idea, isn't it?
Because it's used as a time-wasting ploy by lots of old pros. They deliberately walk along the line so that they're 15 yards on from where they should be taking the throw in. And the referee then, if they get it right, the referee will go, no, go back. And they go, have I got to go all the way back? And waste an entire minute. And they'll still come forward.
Oh, you nick another 10 of the 15 yards anyway, don't they, some of them?
Yeah.
Frustrating for fans, but it gives us something to moan and
it gives us something to moan about. Yeah, we all moan about that. He's taking it to. He's gone forward too far, ref. Always. Okay, 2-1. You say then?
I'm going 2-1 home to Hull, which would be I should be delighted. Any win, you know me, any win, however it's achieved, is good for me.
An oasis in the desert of football non-knowledge. Steve Bone.
Thank you. Too kind.
Talk soon.
Look forward to it.